Oh, well, hey, welcome back to No Sleep Sleepover. How you doing? I'm Logan, that's Matt. And we're having a little virtual party with our little drinky drinks.
I like you were a little Wendy Williams. You're like, how you doing? How you
Doing.
doing?
I think I was going for Minnesota, but I think I totally
Um,
missed that.
Wendy Williams from Minnesota.
There you go.
Like
Matt, what are
it's
you
because
drinking?
this is a Hell's Seltzer. It's the Hell's Kitchen official seltzer by Chef Gordon Ramsay himself, and this one is called Nick a Twist. It's passion fruit, pineapple, and orange. So a lot of flavor,
Ooh,
which is just how I like it.
interesting.
So
Tons of flavor.
flavor.
I'm drinking the bottom of two bottles of red wine.
Ooh.
So a little mixing going on. They both were probably $12 total. So
Okay.
class, nothing but class over here.
Hey, I personally feel like after $10, all wine tastes the same, but that's just me.
Agree.
You
If
know,
anyone spends like $80 on a bottle of wine, I don't agree with you. Sorry.
I mean, here's the thing: you'd have to tell me why it costs that amount. Like, why is it that it costs $80? Were the grapes like massaged every day? Like, is it some rare plant that only grows like 10 grapes a year? Like, I need some evidence besides the fact that it's good wine, because good
You
wine can come
could
cheap, right? So
you could tell me all of that. You could tell me that it was grown in the mountains of I don't know.
Vadonia, that sounds
I'm
like a mountain
very
that
bad with yeah.
grows grapes.
And I'd be like, okay, cool. Or I can get a barefoot bottle for,
Hmm.
$8 and have it taste very similar.
Hmm. And I
So,
mean, I'm open to trying new wine. Don't get me wrong, but it has
mhm,
to be reasonably priced. So,
for
you know,
sure.
or happy
Um,
hour. That's a good time to buy cheap
love a good happy hour.
wine.
Matt, I have a question for you.
Yes, shoot.
Have you ever tried grocery delivery to your house?
No, I get why people love it. I get why people do it. If I was a single mom or if I was, you know, too busy, I think I would invest more into it. But there's something that I like, especially because I go to stores like Aldi and Trader Joe's and like Costco, and like sometimes you have to go and see the deals and see the different things. And like Aldi's has like that whole random like mystery section that like I don't know, do they have it online? I know Aldi's does the delivery, but I don't know. There's a part of it that I like being there. But tell me, what about you? Are you getting your groceries delivered now?
So, yes, I started grocery delivery. I downloaded an app in the middle of the pandemic, beginning of the pandemic, like last summer. I don't really know if that's the middle or if we're in the middle right now. I don't know how pandemic time works.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, so I downloaded a grocery delivery app, and I don't mean this lightly when I say it changed my life. Oh my goodness. It it was very nice getting things delivered to me in the height
Hmm.
of the pandemic when it wasn't super safe to go outside if you didn't need to.
Hmm. Hmm.
So when I needed some things from the store, it was great to be able to have that delivered to me and to feel like I'm helping someone else out because it's like, delivery, like you tip them.
Yeah.
So I felt like, okay, someone else is putting their life like in danger going to the store while I stay
Hmm.
home, but I'm able to tip somebody because I'm not going to restaurants right now. I'm not, tipping like I normally do other places. So that
Hmm.
felt great. And I've just kind of kept it going. Like I still go to the store for like fruits and veggies and fresh produce and stuff that I
Hmm.
need. But I love grocery delivery, except except I usually order it around the same time,
Hmm.
and I've had the same shopper multiple
Hmm.
times, and I've kind of realized that they're probably judging me very hardcore.
Why would they be judging you? What are you getting?
Nothing out of the ordinary, but when you buy a couple things from the store and you go up to the cash register and you're like, oh, they're definitely thinking something about what I'm
Oh yeah.
purchasing.
And that's why I love self checkout. There is no shame with the self
Yes.
checkout. The only shame is from me, and that's fine.
And the camera that's like watching you and it shows you exactly how you
Oh my
look in your
god.
mask and your little hoodie and you're like, I love this.
I always like give a smile to the camera as if the camera's like a security guard to be like, no, nothing bad over here, good sir.
Not
Like,
stealing.
not stealing.
But I've had the same shoppers over and over and over again,
Mm,
and they're seeing what I'm ordering, and they probably know who I am by my name, and because they know where I live and they know where they're delivering to. And I just, maybe I'm thinking too much into this, but I definitely think that every time I order,
yeah.
they're judging me for getting, Doritos, uh, Pringles, a
I don't
box of
think
tissues.
I don't think those are judgeable things though. I mean, if you were like, okay, if let's say you have the same person every week, and every week you were buying like 6 gallons of ice cream, they might be like, that's a lot of ice cream, but maybe it's a
Okay.
family. Like, what's going on? But like, I don't know, like Doritos and chips and tissues seems pretty like innocent, right? Like, are they going to really judge you for that?
Well, that's just, one order. And then the order next week is the 6 gallons of ice cream. And
I'll take 20 bottles of Merlot and 6 gallons of ice cream. Just like the biggest, like depressing, I broke up with my
yeah, exactly.
boyfriend kind of list. So that's funny. No,
I
I
honestly,
get
I
that
wonder if
though.
they ever,
Oh, go ahead, girl.
sorry,
No, you're
I
good.
think that I'm on a delay or something. I think there's something wrong with my Wi-Fi. I'm so sorry if this sounds awful.
You're like, what? Um, no, what I was gonna say was like, oh, what was I gonna say? Sorry, your delay. Oh, just like the idea of like, when I order even on like Amazon or something, like
Mhm.
sometimes I'm like, oh, I feel a little weird about what I'm ordering. So even though like even there's no like actual like person. Like there's people who are
Yeah.
getting me, the package, but I don't
But the
know.
people who are like delivering it to you and know where you live, it's just a
Mhm.
box for them,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
typically. But yeah, pandemic, crazy
Oof.
times.
Oof. Yeah.
I just the thought that we're like spending our second holiday season in the like with COVID and the pandemic and everything going on,
Mm-hmm.
it's just ugh, it's insane.
Yeah. And I mean, what's so sad is like honestly, like we don't even know, like we could be it could be just as bad next year. Like it doesn't seem like it's really dying down. It seems like there's mutations, and I don't know. I don't want to be negative Nancy, but part of me is like, oh my God, how long will this go? You
Yeah.
know?
I do you think that people are gonna well, I mean, people are still working from home right now, you
Hmm.
know? It, I was gonna say, do you think people are gonna start going back home? But a lot of offices kind of transition to staying home.
Oh yeah, and there's like giant companies that are now all remote. Like
Hmm.
Giant Eagle is all remote as a company. That's a big company to have like be remote, but I think it just makes sense. I mean, like they did even a survey too. Like people are like, I'll take a pay cut if it means getting to stay home. And like even right now, like there's something tempting about like, ooh, can I just do a job from like home? And like for me, like I wouldn't just do it at home. I'd be like going to the coffee shops and like maybe doing trips and doing work, wherever I'm at. Like I just think
Hmm.
that like a lot of jobs can be done remotely now. So I don't know. Maybe we're in a field
And
where maybe that's harder. I don't know, but
yeah. I
I
mean,
mean,
with Zoom, anything is possible.
I think so. So, but there's some people that I think like the idea of going somewhere for work, like
Hmm.
having that physical place be where I'm going to work and do my thing. For me, I can work from anywhere. So,
See, I'm definitely an in-person kind of person. I worked home for a little bit. I hated it. It was miserable. I hate being by myself. I'm a very talkative person. Like I am an extrovert. I get my energy from people. So just staying in one room by myself all day, even though I was, on Zoom talking with my coworkers, it wasn't the same for me. And it just, I
Mhm,
absolutely hated it.
mhm. Yeah, I mean, it depends on your personality, but I don't know. For me, I definitely like the flexibility. I like being in charge of my own schedule. So those parts to me, um, that's what's alluring about it. But I think some people they like the regiment, they like a structure, but I kind
Mhm.
of like a structureless system a little bit, not like chaos, but you
Yeah,
know, so
totally makes sense. Um, And Zoom. How you feel about Zoom?
So I actually put this on my list. I love Zoom. I think it's really changed not only how we think about the workplace, but like partially our lives. Like I think before Zoom, I didn't really know how to like necessarily execute certain creative projects that I wanted to do. So that's what's really
Mhm.
exciting for me is just like the possibility. Like I do a show called Pop It now, and that's done through Zoom. And even right now, we're on Zoom. And it's really kind of, I don't know, I think really been beneficial for me. I know some people get like frustrated with like, oh, Zoom and technology and blah blah, but like I don't know, I like it. I don't know about what you, if you have a love-hate relationship with Zoom.
I mean, I definitely see the perks of it for sure. Having meetings over Zoom,
Mhm.
oh, total game changer. I don't see the need for in-person meetings necessarily anymore when Zoom is a viable option. It's right here, it's
Mhm.
easy, people can be comfortable. It's great.
Mhm.
Um, I loved slash hated um
Mhm.
like the start of the pandemic, literally like middle of March
Mhm.
when everyone was like, "Oh, we should have Zoom parties." So people that you haven't talked to in like 4 years were like, "Let's hang out on Zoom. Let's chat. Let's.
Mhm.
Uh I don't know if you went to any Zoom parties, but that
Yeah,
was
I had a
all the rage.
few, and I actually liked it because it forced me to like, not force me, force sounds like I was like held by gunpoint to be in a Zoom party, but it made me, like, oh, I could reconnect with people who like I otherwise wasn't really reconnecting with, like that. There was
Mhm.
that part I really liked. I liked that it got me to see people who I wasn't seeing in the first place because they live in Philadelphia, and now we can kind of come together. The only issue, and I don't know if this is like an issue, is that like the 40-minute time limit. Don't love that, but I get that
Yeah, that
they're trying to make money. I get it, but part of me is just like, I'd rather have like an ad or two, or I don't know, I'd rather have to like on the sidebar of my Zoom meeting, it's like sponsored by Crackers, or I don't know, sponsored by HelloFresh, like
yeah,
Zoom.
something like that. Yeah, cuz 40 minutes I mean, it is really nice when you are in meetings
Mhm.
and they need to end, because you only have those 40 minutes and they're not keeping you for hours and hours.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, for personal use, it's nice to have more time. It stinks
Mhm.
that you have to pay to get that time,
Yeah.
honestly.
And I'm cheap, as we talked about with the wine. So for me, I am not gonna be paying. I'll like do two. I'll send two different links. I don't care. We'll like take a break and we'll come back on a new Zoom link. Like I'm not gonna.
Yeah,
It's
I
not in my
just stitch
budget.
them together if you have to. If you're sending a video to someone, there's easy ways for sure.
Yeah.
But, oh man, pandemic. I feel like we're gonna watch this back in like a year, 5 years, and just be like, wow, remember that time.
Well,
Hopefully we're still not in the pandemic.
and they say like this is like a once in a lifetime thing. So like fingers crossed, like we'll be dead by the time this becomes like there's another pandemic, right? Like that's
Oh
like kind of the worry, or not the worry, I should say, but the hope. So
I, you hope so,
we'll
you know.
see. I mean, hopefully I'm not like 60 and then this is like part two, because that would really suck. So
There are things that I do hope stick around, like
mhm.
social distancing.
Oh my
I
gosh,
want
yes.
people to give me my space. Oh my
Mhm.
goodness. Like in stores, or I could never imagine going to like a crowded concert venue and just being like packed in with everybody. Mm-mm.
What's funny? I've not done a concert in so long. Like, I'm
Mm.
honestly like a little sad because I've not done it. Have you gone to a concert since like, you know?
Um, I've been to I went to a comedian. Um,
Oh, how was that?
it was good. I mean, it was like seated. It was you needed proof of vaccination or a negative COVID test within 48
Mhm.
hours of the show. So that was really really reassuring, and it was like still they encourage mask wearing.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, just packed in places, just all standing room, everyone everywhere. That
Mhm.
just sounds like my nightmare. Like, I don't know if like this pandemic has made me agoraphobic or,
Oh.
but like I don't want to be around people in big groups, like ever.
No, I feel that. I mean, I think definitely I've become a little bit more conscientious of God, that was a typical word. Conscientious of groups and people. I mean, when the pandemic started, I remember like counting. Remember when they were like no more than a group of 10, and I'd walk by and be like, that's 12, that's 14, that's 16 and a half. I mean, like I think it was kind of ingrained for a while, but even now, like I'm like, this is too busy. I don't like that. This is too many people. I don't like that. And I think I've always had a little bit of like, I don't want to say claustrophobia or agoraphobia per se, but I've always been a little bit like, okay, I don't mind if there's like a lot of people, but I want to feel safe. I don't want to feel like a cog in the wheel,
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, I miss concerts. I really would love to go to a rave. I was talking to my good friend the other day about like, I really want like a dance party. I want to just go and like, like be one of those go-go girls, like woo at a party.
I'll be streaming from home and watching it and be like, ah.
Trust me, we will not be streaming that. No one needs to see that. If anything, we need like a de-streaming. Is there like a way to anti-stream something like
No pictures, no videos, nothing.
Or
Don't
we could do some pictures during this rave, but like I need approval before we post them because I might be like Long Island tipsy. So gotta be a little careful. But
I love it. What else?
I was gonna say, going off of this, one thing that I really loved was that places are actually cleaning things. Because like, remember, like early on, people were like, we're gonna be cleaning every day. We are disinfecting things every day. And I'm like, weren't you like doing that before, or were you not?
You been?
Like,
Yeah.
So was the disinfecting and cleaning like only once a week? Like, what was the exact like measure? And like, I think there's sacrifices that come with that. Like Planet Fitness, by the way, is no longer 24/7. It is 24/5. So weekdays, it's like, I think Sunday through Friday night, it's open, and then they close Friday night and Saturday night. So it's like, which is kind of crazy.
That has been one of my biggest gripes throughout this pandemic
has been the
like
hours.
Places changing their hours. And don't get me wrong, I totally get it. I totally understand it. And I wouldn't go to a business and complain that their hours are different. But as someone who works unconventional hours, it's sometimes hard doing things that I need to do when stores have limited their hours or changed them. One of a very selfish example is Starbucks used to be open until 11 p.m. And so I would go before my job and I would get some Starbucks, Now it closes at 9 p.m.
Yeah.
Like multiple hours before I need to even leave the house. And so it's just something so stupid that's just so inconveniencing.
Yeah.
Which, me saying this, there's so many like worse things that like people have gone through, But
it's true. It's one of those things where like I always put in comparison where it's like, people who are suffering, and then like there is those inconveniences that you're like, it really grinds my gears that Starbucks is closing at 9 when I would like to drink my coffee at 11.
It's like the Keeping Up with the Kardashians quote, Kim, there are people who are dying.
Seriously. But that's I don't know. So I get that. And there's another point I want to make, but I don't want us to jump the gun yet, because I do think it's really interesting too, like the methods of like people, like the cleaning, like the disinfectant everywhere. There was like a Purell shortage and a Lysol shortage and a bleach shortage, and it's just like it was kind of crazy for a while. I mean, I remember
there was like the sanitizing robots that were like they were trying out that would just like spraying their sanitizer everywhere.
And one thing that I still don't understand is like the toilet paper shortage, like partially because like COVID is not like a diarrhea disease. It's not like you get COVID and you're like on the can for 3 days. So like, who was the person that started that? Who like what was the exact like, oh my God, like we need to get toilet paper? Or is it just the fact that people were like, okay, stay home, and they're like, oh my gosh, if I don't have 100 rolls of toilet paper, I'm like no joke, Logan, I don't know if this is good or not. I don't think I've used up in the last year. I don't think I've used all of a 24 pack of toilet paper. How often do you go through toilet paper? Well, I'm just curious. I mean, I'm like very, very, I'm over here like
Let's
a
talk poop.
peasant, like, please, Lord, give us a little toilet paper for our poo.
See, I definitely fed into the whole like toilet paper shortage. Like, I'm gonna go to the
Mm.
store, I'm gonna buy it. I waited in line with everyone else. When the doors opened, I rushed to the toilet paper with everybody. It was insane.
Mhm.
That was like earlier, like the first couple of days of
Oh
everything.
yeah.
I think people saw what was happening in like Italy, where they were like not even supposed to leave their houses. And
Mm.
I think people were thinking that was going to come here, that it was going to be
Okay.
like a complete shutdown, is what I would assume.
Mhm.
Yeah, because I don't think it's like the amount of toilet paper people think thought that they were going to use. It was just
Mhm.
the opportunities to leave the house to get more if they needed it.
Mhm.
But I mean, worst comes to worst, paper towels, tissues, like those are all usable for toilet paper. We didn't need to be doing that.
Well, that's what's so funny. It's just like I don't know. It's so doesn't it feel like random to you? It feels so random to me. Like why the
Hmm.
toilet paper? But I guess there's a reason for everything. So
I guess so.
hmm. But one thing that I think I especially I almost said the word love, which is not accurate. Well, I guess I do love this. I do love how I think COVID and just a lot of it's really created this giant like labor movement with
Hmm.
workers' rights and people saying, okay, I'm not being paid a fair wage. We're going to ask for more money. We're going to, protest. We're gonna stop working. I'm gonna get a better job. I get the price point I want. I read one article talking about how this might be the biggest labor movement since the Middle Ages, because if you remember, the Black Plague killed about 1/3 of Europe, and this was what happened was there was not enough workers, and so workers actually like kind of gained, they were actually coveted and prized a bit better. So I think we're kind of in not necessarily that much of a drastic situation, but you have about 2-3 million Americans who retired earlier than expected. You
Hmm.
have people who passed away from COVID who had jobs. Not everyone who passed away from COVID probably had a job, but still, some definitely did. And another
Hmm.
thing to consider too are the people who got COVID and have had long-term problems, and so they're out of the workforce. And then you have people who are like, it's just not the cost of childcare. They're staying
Hmm.
home with the kids, so that kind of has lended itself to a position where, um, I don't know how you feel about this. I think just people they're fed up. They're not get they
Hmm.
are over it. They're walking out, and I love that. I think especially these large corporations. I've always felt like small businesses, it might be harder for them to pay a living or a more sustainable wage, but there should be some kind of like program in place with like maybe a federal government or something in place where like, okay, we can help local businesses pay fair wages if they're hiring employees.
Hmm.
But in terms of these corporations that make billions a year and still, and I'm looking at you, rhymes with Talmart, still pay their employees 11, $12 an hour, still in part of the training to work at Talmart, you get the food stamps and you're told, here's the government assistance programs. No, 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 no,
Hmm.
no, no. So that I'm glad. I am really glad that a lot of people are saying enough is enough. And I think it's really creating, and then the delivery this year, the delivery, they're saying like, oh, things won't get delivered on time, and where will I be without my 2-day package from Amazon? And I think it's a great wake up for people to remember that, like, you know there's such a people have such a distaste for people who are in certain jobs, whether it's in
Hmm.
restaurant or retail, shipping, and how important these people are. um I think this pandemic and currently with this labor crisis, it's really shining a light on, well, this person does really important work, and they should be paid, and they should have benefits, and they should be treated with respect and with kindness. So sorry,
And
that's my rant.
it sucks that we're not there yet though. Like it sucks that it's still a conversation that's had and we're facing a labor shortage.
Yeah.
Like places need to hire people and people don't want to apply because they're not getting livable wages. They're not getting what they
Yeah.
need.
And I
And
don't blame them for
so,
that. And I don't blame people who are on unemployment making more unemployment than they are making minimum wage. That's a problem.
yeah.
Like, doesn't
Mhm.
that say, oh, like if our unemployment, we're measuring that this is what it costs for you to survive on a monthly basis, and you make less on minimum wage, like that blows my mind that's a thing that could be, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
oh, crazy.
Yeah, because I mean, why would you work like over 8 hours typically? It's not just an 8-hour shift for a minimum wage job
Yeah.
typically. Um like have to also find childcare, also have to do XYZ, probably not get any insurance or anything
Mm-hmm.
and make less money. It just
Mm-hmm.
it's insane right now, and I hope that there's a solution soon, and I hope that Talmart gets their stuff together.
Yeah.
And like like restaurant workers too. They're not getting paid what they should, and they
Mm-hmm.
were the ones who them like frontline workers, healthcare workers, like they were getting the brunt of everything,
Mm-hmm.
the start of the pandemic. And
Mm-hmm.
just it's not fair.
I know it. I get so upset on some of these kind of things.
Hmm.
It just makes me like, I don't know, man. Like, we are the richest country in the world, hands down, and yet for being one of those rich countries, we really are so behind, and so many people are in poverty. 1 in 5 kids in America are hungry right now, and it's like we have the money, we have the resources. You
This
have
sounds like a
people.
PSA.
I know. It started with COVID, but it's just me just ranting
We
about
are the
time.
world. We are
Oh,
the
the
children.
children. No, I should stop. These
No,
topics
you're
are
good.
very like social issues. I mean, I studied sociology. I
Hmm.
Social issues to me are so important. So yeah,
Yeah,
any
no.
chance I can, I'll talk about it. So you take it away. I've been hogging this episode. Logan, what else has
Sorry.
happened the last year and a half that has changed your
Oh,
life?
let's talk restaurants.
Yes,
Like
please.
food delivery, restaurants and stuff. I, along with my grocery delivery,
Mm-hmm.
I tried, doing food delivery from and like takeout from
Mm-hmm.
places. Um, but oh, I love restaurants. Like I
Mm-hmm.
definitely missed going to restaurants.
I'm willing to guess that I spend about 5 grand a year eating and dining out.
I spent a lot. So much.
Like, I think 1/12, like it's a solid amount of my
Hmm.
income goes to food, whether it's food on the go, it's restaurants, it's takeout, it's snicky snacks, it's
Hmm.
drinks, it's more drinks, it's non-alcoholic drinks, it's tea, coffee, my coffee budget. I
Yeah.
mean,
Ugh.
I what can I say? I
It's
love it.
And so literally like when restaurants were putting up like dividers and like having options for safe dining and the outside dining, how they opened up stuff, like they would block off roads and do that. Oh
Mhm.
my God, I loved it. I felt safe going places. I felt good supporting like local businesses and everything and
Mhm.
servers and being able to tip. It's just because I'm sure lots of people were not tipping like their takeout orders or maybe just
Mhm.
a little bit.
Mhm.
Here's a PSA. You should always be tipping for takeout. People
we're
are
just
still
like we're
doing
just
work.
judging people all day. We're like, welcome to no sleep sleepover. You're not gonna eat sleep because we're gonna just judge you for your
We're gonna judge
habits.
you for your pandemic habits. But I think you should always tip like in a
Yeah.
restaurant.
Hmm.
People still make that food. People are still doing a service
Hmm.
for you.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, it felt so good going to restaurants again and being able to enjoy the ambiance of the restaurant world.
Yeah.
And do you remember your first big outing, like through the pandemic? Not like big out, but like something that's memorable-ish.
Oh
Because
man, I gotta
I
tell you.
mean,
I mean, my memory is so bad, but I
I
feel like
mean,
I
mine's not even a good
remember.
one, but
Well, you go first then. You go first. Let me hear what yours is. And
I don't even mean like big outing, but I just like I really missed movie theaters. And
oh
so
yeah.
the one day I was having a bad day and I was like, you know what? I need to go to the movie theater. And so I bought a ticket online. And so I walked right in. I got my little popcorn. I was the only person in the theater because it was like
Aw,
the middle of the day. And it was just so nice and like cathartic to just have
yeah,
that moment.
that's nice.
It was very nice. But
I just remember early on in the pandemic, like I did a lot of hiking and walking, which I miss. I really got to get back on that, to be honest.
mhm,
But otherwise, I feel like it was like the summer was when I finally started pushing the waters a bit. Like
mhm.
it wasn't until the summer, and even then, I wasn't really doing anything crazy. I guess like my first crazy adventure would have been earlier in May this year, May or June. I did 2 trips back to back. I did Austin, North Carolina, and
Oh.
that felt not normal, but that felt like okay, I can, like there was a little enjoyment. It was nice. It was a good time.
Mhm.
But
I like how I'm like, I went to the movies, and you're like, I went on vacation. I'm really living large over here.
I'm like that go-go song, Vacation, all I ever wanted. But no. I mean, I still feel like I haven't done anything huge. I mean, yeah, the vacations were
Mhm,
big, but I
mhm,
haven't done a concert. I have not
mhm.
gone. I think I've gone to the club, but it wasn't like a club. It was like a everyone sit at your table club.
Ooh,
Which was like,
fun.
wah, wah, like I'm
You're like,
hoping
how do
this
I meet
winter, like
people?
I need people to be vaxxed so we can dance at the club all night. That is what I need from you.
Mhm,
So that's what I need from people. Um, so yeah, I
oh
feel like
God.
I'm still not normal.
Mhm.
And it's another thing too. I feel like I'm working the most I've ever worked.
Really?
Yeah, I'm pulling like 60, 70-hour weeks these days. And it should calm down a little bit with the winter. But yeah, that's I think, and I think next year too, we saw a huge burst of activity this year because of the vaccines. People were like summer. But I think
Mhm.
next year more people will feel comfortable. So it's gonna be crazier than ever. So
Oh goodness.
no pressure.
Insane. Again, seriously. Yeah, you're working 70-hour weeks now, but think of like 90. How does that sound?
90-hour weeks.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
Let's do
god,
it. Why not?
no. If anything, like I need to work a little bit less.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Because I want to do more me things. And you know what I miss? I miss my writing days. And I actually early pandemic, I was able to finally have some writing days. And now these days, there's no writing days. Um,
I feel like early pandemic let people tap into parts of themselves that they really wanted to.
mhm,
Like people were trying new things, and like you said, you went hiking. A lot of people are going walking every day. A
mhm,
lot of like I know I bought a pair of roller skates along with
mhm.
everyone else. Everyone was roller skating. It's just people were doing different fun things to counteract like, the anxieties of a pandemic and
Mhm,
not seeing people all the time. And so I think that was a really exciting time that
mhm.
I'm kind of upset that we lost, because
Aw,
we're not out of the pandemic. We're still here. We're still dealing with it all. And
mhm,
so it would be nice if people, were still doing the things that sparked joy in the beginning.
mhm. Yeah, I think there was, I know a lot of people have negative experiences, but it was nice to like take a light pause. For a
Hmm.
while I was just going into work and then I'd come home and I'd create. I missed working out. I think that was the biggest thing was not having any access to a gym for the
Yeah.
first 2 months. That was really hard. And this as soon as the gym opened, I was masked up and I was ready to work out. And for me, it was a mental health thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't even about like, oh, I have to look like a Greek Adonis,
Want to
because
get
Lord
swole.
knows instead of a Greek Adonis, I'm like a Swedish heifer.
Chef.
Swedish heifer chef. Hef chef. But it was more of just like, oh my god, like I need to I want to feel good. And like
Yeah.
walking, I'm not a runner. I hate running. I think I'm only gonna run from
Preach.
bullets and from a fire. So unless you're one of
I'm
the
thinking
two.
running two things, like two free food,
Two
two
chicken,
the
two
bar.
vodka. But for me, like
What?
working out it was a mental thing. And I think some people, I think we all had, when it was that last summer when things started to kind
Mhm.
of like slowly open, like we all had something that I guess made us a little selfish. We all had an
Yes.
activity, or we all had like a venture, or we wanted to see a person and like, oh, we were going to be inside. Oh, and it's like, I think
Hmm.
that was okay. I hate people who like try and be this altruistic, like you can't do anything. I mean, like 2 months. I mean, oof, it was
Yeah.
going a little stir crazy there. So
And I totally don't want people to think that we're downplaying, the height of the pandemics and
mhm,
trying to make light of it. I mean, we are kind of making light of it. It's
mhm,
it's it's been a hard, literally year and a half, almost 2 years. Can you believe it?
yeah,
Um, and I mean, I don't know about you, but I mean, there have been rough things throughout that, you don't want to talk about all the time, that you don't want to bring up because, it's been a hard year and a half.
mhm,
So sometimes it's just nice to reflect on the happy,
yeah.
good, positive
Well, and I think
things.
it's not, it wasn't just about COVID either. I mean, early
Mhm,
onset, you saw increases in suicide, in abuse
mhm,
situations, in alcohol and abuse, and a lot of bad things were on the rise for the greater good, obviously being of sheltering in place because of COVID. So there is this kind of, it's not white or black, right? It's just there's shades of gray in there, and
mhm,
it's like, okay, early onset, right? We weren't allowed to do anything, but like, what if someone was in an abusive household and they didn't have a place to go because of COVID, or
mhm.
they're home all alone and they're tempted to, drink again or use drugs again, or,
Yeah,
whatever.
there's
And
definitely
that's
like
hard.
so many dark sides to it. Mhm.
Yeah. Not to, not to like be negative Nancy, but, you know, I don't know.
Whew.
I think I can, for me, like, there's always room for, like, okay, if you need to get out of your house because like you're gonna drink yourself into a stupor, get out of your house. Go sit on someone's
Mhm.
front yard and chat safely. At least, in 2020 early on. These days, I think most people have become apathetic to it. They're just kind of over it. People, not most, but a lot of people are vaccinated, and then those who aren't, I mean, I don't feel like they're gonna change that mentality. And I think we've unfortunately kind of accepted it. And I don't know. What do you think? That's a really tough question, but what do you think the general public's response is
Yeah,
right now? I mean, because we're still technically in
it's
a pandemic.
mhm. It's definitely hard. Ohio is like the 10th least vaccinated state.
Ooh.
Um, and
Let me guess.
it hurts to hear.
Is Mississippi number one?
I don't know the order, but I would not be surprised, one of those southern states.
Yeah.
Sorry if you're listening from Mississippi,
How dare they?
but get get vaccinated. I
we
just,
lost we lost
I,
our glass maker, we lost our southern listeners all in one swoop. So
jeez, we're losing everyone. But I definitely think it's people's responsibility to keep other people safe.
yeah.
I still wear my mask. I still try to be smart
Mhm,
mostly. Um, Obviously, I'm not perfect. I'm not doing everything that I could to,
mhm,
stop the spread, but
mhm,
but I like to think that I'm helping in one
mhm,
way or another,
mhm,
to slow it down. Once I'm eligible for a booster, I'm gonna get a booster.
mhm,
I'll get 1,000 boosters. The second literally get it. And yeah, I think that's my duty too. And I wish that other people felt similar
mhm.
and just,
Yeah.
helped us get out of this.
Mhm.
Because people still are getting sick. People still are,
Yeah. Oh,
you
big
know,
time.
dealing with it. And it'd be cool if we were just done with it.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm
It'd
telling
be
you, they should
awesome.
have had a federal lockdown for 2 months, and it wouldn't have been perfect, but I feel like we would have been in a better place, because
I just
that.
don't think I don't think it's realistic. Like, I think people would protest, um, and that would, it would, I don't think it would be possible, honestly. But
But what's so crazy is so many other countries can do it. Like, why aren't we
I
being
know.
difficult? Why are we being difficult?
Italy's done it multiple times. Australia's doing it right
France
now
has done it
again.
like 6 times. Yeah, I mean, because I don't know. I think this is a different podcast topic, but I think those countries have a better sense of like what's good for the community, whereas we pride ourselves on like individuality.
Yes.
And that's one of the dangers of individuality. You don't necessarily care about your neighbor, you care about yourself. And what does yourself want? Well, you don't want to be home. You want to be partying and drinking whiskey and I don't know, doing things. So that's hard.
It's like Australia had like 3 cases and shut down again.
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
They were like 1, 2, 3. Nope, we're not doing this again. Lockdown. Too many.
Good for them.
Meanwhile, we're here like it's like the Bird Box meme with Sandra Bullock's eyes. Like, wait, we have 1 million deaths. What? We don't see anything. I don't know.
Where? I don't. But yeah, again, I'm just excited to look back at this in hopefully a year and just say, wow, remember that time? Remember when we went through that all? And hopefully we're out of it. I don't want to spend a 3rd holiday season in a pandemic.
Meanwhile, some COVID mutations like listening to this and is like, yeah, you think you're getting next year. Bet.
It's miserable.
I know.
Anything else you want to add on?
No, COVID? This was a good reflection of sorts.
I feel kind of bad because I feel like we're the TV show that came back and everyone's like, oh, I hope they don't have a COVID episode. And then we did it.
Well, just for those who want to know, this was Logan's idea. So who came up with this topic? Logan Molnar. You can reach her at Logan Molnar at Gmail.
You can find me. I live at.
Her phone number is 555.
I thought it would be a really good reflection time. And
I liked it. You know? I feel like I probably went off a little bit on some tangents, but I had fun. So
tangents are what we're all about here. No sleepover.
Well, next week, I don't know about you. I think we need a fun topic. No serious things next time.
Yeah.
The sleepover is getting fun. We're playing Spin the Bottle next week.
This was like the 3 a.m. conversation. Like everyone's getting a little delirious, and it's like, so do you believe in God? You just go from there. What, next you didn't do that at your sleepover?
Next week, do you that has never come up in any sleepover party. That's an interesting topic.
You've never been to a girly girl sleepover then, because
girly girl sleepover, we're gonna have canapé and religious talk.
Yeah, you talk religion, then you bust out the Ouija board. Isn't that what everyone does?
The Ouija board, yeah, that's iconic. I mean, when I think of a female sleepover, I think of the Ouija board for sure.
So. Ugh, hate that.
Next week we're gonna be on a Ouija board.
Jesus.
Over Zoom. It's a virtual Ouija board.
Yeah, and then we'll have like an extra box of whoever is talking with us too. It's a group. Anyways. Yeah. Thank you guys for listening. We really appreciate it. Hopefully you're enjoying these. I think these are coming out every Monday, I want to say.
Okay, right? You know what's funny? I was going to ask you off air, but let's talk about it with everybody. I know we said Sundays, but should we just do Mondays?
I think Mondays.
Because I wonder if people wake up Sunday and they're like, I'm not going to listen to this podcast. Like, what catches people more? Are people waking up Sunday and it's like, ooh, a new podcast, let me listen to that? Or is it Monday like, this is going to get me through the day?
I don't
know. So you
people
vote right now. Call into the American Idol hotline, 216 American Idol.
Our live chat section. Comment right now, and we'll read them on air.
Press 1 for Sundays and press 2 for Mondays. But
yeah, I mean, let us know because I just I don't think it matters to us.
I think I went with Mondays because like it looked better on the flyer that I made. Because it was like Mondays, no sleepover. Tuesdays is Judgment Day. Thursdays is Judgment Day, and then the other 2 shows are not weekly, but they're on a weird cyclical thing. So God, I was like, oh, it's pretty like Monday, Tuesday, Thursday.
Thank you for not promoting your other shows on our podcast. If you're not aware, Judgment Day is another podcast that Matt and I do together.
Well, I mean, I mentioned Judgment Day because we're both on it. I mean, it feels like
good.
It's not like an anti-conflict of interest.
No, forget your other podcast.
Don't you dare bring up that other podcast we do on this podcast.
Right now, it's all about what we do. Judgment Day and No Sleepover.
Yeah, people like Judgment Day. People are tuned in. I'm glad. I love judging people via Reddit posts. So if you feel like you can relate, join us. We have a good time. So and
hopefully you like these too. Again, you can follow us on our personal Twitters, I'm at Logan Molnar. Matt,
I'm at Hribar, HriBstar.
You can listen to this on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, or
Amazon
on YouTube.
Podcast. I think Pandora, YouTube, Stitcher, TuneIn app, couple others that I can't name because I think would be a conflict of interest with my workplace. So
but if you are listening on YouTube, you're also watching our video, which is very exciting. Hey. That's under the Starvolt Studios page where you can find Matt's other podcasts.
Yeah, you can find a lot of content on there. We have some things that are working on for next year.
No.
I wasn't even gonna say anything specific, just things are being worked on. And you're like, no, you're not working. Get out of here.
I'm sorry, this is not a promotion page. This
They're like, I had to listen to 45 minutes of a COVID special, and now this.
Seriously, I'm like,
this is probably like we're probably like so behind. Like this is like someone's like, it's November of 2021 and they're finally talking about this. Like, sorry.
We got there eventually.
We did.
It just took some time.
No regrets.
We're also on
no regrets.
No regrets. We're also on TikTok.
Yeah. How are we doing on there? Are you taking Logan's in charge of the TikTok, so if you have any complaints for the TikTok, it's all Logan.
I posted one video and it has over 600 views.
Wait, what? Post another one. We have we have like 4 episodes now.
I know. I'll catch up on that. We have 4 followers though, so
okay. Well, hey, I mean, you gotta start somewhere.
And 2 are us.
600 views is actually that's really nice.
It's not bad. So follow us on TikTok too, because I'll start posting more videos there.
Yeah, I wanna. I do follow, right? I feel like we're friends.
Yes.
This day. Oh, it has 9 likes too. Not bad.
Isn't that exciting? So go check out our YouTube video. And thanks again for watching and listening.
Yeah. All right.
Catch you next Monday.
Yes. Peace out.
Bye.